Hi, everybody. This is Yvonne DeVito with a very special episode of Scratchins and Sniffins Out Loud. Today, I have the delightful pleasure of talking to a good friend, Nadine Rosin, about her book, The Healing Art of Pet Parenthood. She is a holistic healer. She is a very talented woman who has made me laugh and cry at the same time. Nadine, welcome to Scratchins and Sniffins.
Yvonne, thank you so much. I'm just honored to be here.
Well, one of the interesting things about our relationship and our friendship is that at this moment, anyway, it's a bit of a long-distance friendship because we met on the Internet. You have a wonderful, marvelous video of you and Buttons doing things together in the mountains, at the beach, and being the way people are because our pets are so important to us. Well, while I was watching it, Nadine, after a time, it wasn't Buttons anymore, and it wasn't you. It was me and Carmi, and it made me laugh, and it made me cry at the same time. So I want to say thank you for making that video.
Well, Yvonne, thank you so much, and I just want to let your listeners know that this is just a 2-minute and 59-second trailer for the book, so it's not an hour and a half, order a pizza, watch the video kind of video. And I love hearing you say that you were able to put yourself and your Carmi in there, because one thing is I don't want people to think that this is a book just about me and my dog and our story, but instead a version of the story that we all share, all of us who feel that really intense, pure bond with our animals.
Yes. When I got the book, I was afraid to read the book precisely because of losing Carmi and having it so close. And let me just read something off the back cover that pulled me in. It says, "Do you love your pet as much as some people love their children? Do you feel misunderstood by others when it comes to how deeply you cherish your pet? Are you embarrassed to reveal how much you miss an animal that has passed away? You are not alone. Help is here." That sealed it for me. I had to buy this book, not to mention the adorable picture of Buttons there. But so I got the book, and I didn't know what to expect. And then I started reading it one weekend when things were a little quiet, and I could not put it down because it's the story, as you just said. It's the story of a pet parent and her puppy and all the things they did. And, I mean, on page 68, I'm looking right now, Buttons, head of Squirrel Patrol. That's what they are.
A couple things, Yvonne, about what you just said. I hear that a lot from people who I encounter online saying, I'm afraid to read the book. And you just said that yourself. And I find that very interesting because obviously what people are afraid of is that it's going to bring up their own intense emotions and feelings and maybe unresolved grief over an animal or whomever. And that always kind of surprises me. I don't believe that people should dwell in grief, but I do believe that it's so cleansing. It reminds me of, someone who hasn't taken a shower and just keeps putting on more perfume. And I think we do that a lot with our grief. We just try and cover it up and push it down and not feel it because, that's so uncomfortable and, I'm afraid to feel that. Whereas the tears, if you can be in a place where you let those tears flow, they are cleansing. They are cleansing. You are bathed by those tears and letting those emotions out. And, I've had, luckily, several readers email me and say, this really helped me heal reading this book. And I think a lot of it was because it brought up all those unresolved cleansing tears. And so they were able to really move to a new place with those feelings instead of being afraid of them.
Yeah, I think you're right. Also, as a writer myself, I was so appreciative of the way you drew me into the story. I guess I was expecting it just to be a book about your phenomenal attention to Buttons because we know that she had cancer and that you worked very hard to take care of her and manage that, and she lived to be 19. And that was just fantastic. But I was drawn into the bigger picture also. I was drawn into Nadine's story and how you wove it together with Buttons. There were times when I forgot that this was a true story. I felt like I was reading a novel. That's why I didn't want to put it down. I wanted to know what happened next. I will admit that as I got closer to the end and I knew what was going to happen, I did kind of put it down.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't ready. I had to prepare myself.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that, about taking care of Buttons. And my Carmi passed suddenly. She was fine in the morning, and then that evening she was gone. So I had no preparation. It shocked the heck out of me. You didn't really have preparation. I guess I shouldn't say that, but you had 19 years with Delightful Buttons. Tell us about that.
Well, a couple of answers to the points that you bring up. One is I did go very deep and write it all in this book. My intention was to put it all out there, the good, the bad, and the ugly. There are certainly things I wrote about in there about my life and my decisions, things that I look back at now and think, how could I have been so stupid to make that choice? Things that happened between Buttons and I that I regret, things I wish I had done differently, things I was glad that I did the way I did. I put it all in there because I thought this is the only way this can really be of benefit to someone else. I did spend a lot of time and a lot of energy with Buttons curing her cancer, which we did completely holistically and not at all with any of the vet's advice because that just wasn't the right way for me. And after a lot of soul searching, because at first I thought, well, who am I to subject Buttons to just my beliefs and go against what the vet is saying? But after much soul searching, and I describe, as you know, that whole process in the book, I did it my way, and luckily it cured the cancer, which she was diagnosed with at the age of 8, and like you say, she lived to be 19. But my intention was to really help people look deep and feel deep and look at the choices they were making as far as their medical care for their animal and just all across the board. Now, as far as that being prepared or not being prepared, you know, when someone we love dies and in that instant when they're passed on, everything's different. And I've had people go quickly in my life. I've had people linger, and it's never easy. I really have a lot of empathy for people who go through the experience like you did, because I think there is some preparation that one can do emotionally. By the time Buttons passed away, you know, the writing was on the wall. And in fact, I had to work very hard at, while she was still alive, being with her in the moment instead of spending our last few months together thinking about, oh my gosh, this is going to be so awful when she's gone. I was like constantly having to pull myself back from the future. So none of it's easy. Any way it happens, I think that death is really something we have a difficult time dealing with, and sadness, and especially in our culture here, especially when you're grieving over an animal. Yeah. And I'm really hoping that this book will go a long way to changing that. One of the best emails I've gotten from a reader was a woman who said that when she lost her dog of many years, her grown sons were pretty much brushing her off and making fun of the fact that she was in so much pain. Like, how could you feel so much pain for a dog?
Yeah.
And after she read my book, she sent them copies. And a week later, they started calling her and saying things like, you know, I'm so sorry, Mom. I get it now. I didn't get it before, but I get it now. So there's something about the way I wrote the story that is helping open people's eyes who don't get it. So that's a really good thing.
It is. It is a very good thing. For today, I think that's a good place to stop. We'll talk to you again soon.